Any other announcements? Before we leave the chalice, I found a welcome on the UU website, and I just, considering everything that is going on in the world today, I thought it was a good one. So, welcome all who seek renewal in a weary world. Welcome all who come with love and energy to share. Welcome, oh, I cry a lot. We're gonna just have to get used to it. I'm sorry. Welcome to those who worry for the future. Welcome each one who is grateful for today. Know that in this place, you are not alone. In community, we share our strength with one another, and we keep the flame of love burning bright. Know that in this place, responsibility is shared. Here, tradition holds us, ancestors shine a light from the past. Here, the young lift their bright faces and beckon us onward. Take my hand, and we can go on together. All right. And now we will light the chalice. Does anybody really want to light the chalice? So excited to? Yeah, come on. I also found some chalice lighting words that I really liked. We light this chalice for the earth, of which we are all part. We pledge to care for what it needs and hold it in our heart. Thank you. And now to open, wanted to do a call to worship where everyone is invited to take a deep breath. Everything is vying for our attention right now. My phone goes off every 5 seconds. There's terrible news alerts that pop up. Everything, our opinions and the things we like are being commoditized. If you're not good at setting that aside, I'm not either, so we can practice together today. And I want to take a moment here, I guess, and we can all take a deep breath together. I bought a crystal singing bowl from home, so I was going to play a tone, and the only real instructions, I think, when it comes to meditation or deep breathing, I know I get like, I'm like, am I doing this right? But really, I do know how to breathe. Thankfully, that's like inherent. I didn't need to practice. So that's all I'm asking today is we'll let the singing bowl ring and just, we can close our eyes or open them, whatever makes sense to you. And just take a deep breath together to get into worship mode. All that stuff we're putting aside, I promise you will be there when we're done. Opening words, and now we have our hymn, which is in the great hymnal, hymn number 69, Give Thanks. And stand in body or in spirit as you are able. Sorry, that's okay. I forgot that part. overwhelming to try to think about how we can save the earth, and there are some big ideas, but there's some really practical things that we can do to keep the earth healthy that are outlined in this book. So this is Earth Day by Margaret McNamara, and it's illustrated by Mike Gordon. And Earth Day isn't until April, but we can celebrate Earth Day every day. Earth Day was coming. The banners in Mrs. Connor's classroom read, "Save the Earth," but Emma did not know how. The other first graders had lots of ideas. "I will rescue the polar bears," said Egan. "I will plant a forest," said Katie. "I will save the dolphins," said Michael. "Those are all big ideas," said Mrs. Connor. "What other ideas can you think of?" When Emma went home, she felt sad. "I cannot save the earth," Emma said to her dad. "I do not have any big ideas." "We can start small," said her dad. "Small is no good," said Emma. "Small is fine," said her dad. All that week, Emma and her dad did small things to help the earth. They shopped at the farmer's market. Emma brushed her teeth without running the water. Her dad turned off the TV. Looks pretty reluctantly, but he did do it. They went for walks and picked up trash along the way. They sorted cans and bottles. They used their bikes sometimes instead of their car. On Earth Day, Egan drew a picture of polar bears. Kate talked about forests. Michael made dolphin noises. Emma thought about all the things that she did with her dad. Then she made her list. Her list was not long. It says, Emma's small ideas: slow down, recycle, only use what I need. From then on, Mrs. Connor's class slowed down. They recycled, and they only used what they needed to. Emma's small ideas are pretty big, said Mrs. Connor. The earth is safe in your hands. All right, and now we can sing the children off. Matt, he's my husband, and he's going to do the introduction today before we go into the sermon.
Okay. Hi, my name is Matt. I'm going to be introducing Jess today, as you just said. I have the distinction of being Jess's husband, and I have had the privilege of hearing her speak on many occasions on regenerative agriculture inside of and outside of our home. You may know Jess as a member of the garden committee and a member of this fellowship who is quick with a joke if you need a laugh, or to offer a hug if you need comfort. What you probably don't know is that Jess is described by her brother Rob as having pathological humility. So it should come as no surprise that several of us had to convince her that she should have a formal introduction. So Jess, just cover your ears for the next couple of minutes and we'll get through this. So, Jess started her career as a social worker before making the very unique career transition to uproot her life and move to Center County in the shadow of Mount Nittany and apprentice as a dairy farmer. From there, Jess started working here in Chester County as a journey farmer at 7 Stars, right down the road in Kimberton. And then after that, Jess moved on to manage the only accredited dairy grazing apprenticeship program in the United States. Jess helps to train the next generation of dairy grazing farmers from New Jersey to California. She has appeared in several speaking panels, including locally at our own Colonial Theater in Phoenixville during a showing of the documentary film Roots So Deep. I cannot recommend that documentary enough. It really blew my mind and opened up my eyes to not only the science of regenerative farming, but also the culture and misconceptions that I came in of farmers that ended up not being true. Plus the struggle that they have every day on their razor-thin margins to keep their businesses going. So, Jessica will be speaking today about how to change the world with something we all overlook and take for granted. But before she begins, she's asked me to read an unintentional poem that was authored by her mother. And of all places, the comment section of a photo of Jessica in her joy and glory working in the dirt. So, a poem by Mama Sue. We all have our comfort zone, the place where we are ourselves. Jess has always been in the dirt, the soft loam, the sweet smell of honeysuckle wafting through the air. So get dirty, girl. You are never into manicures anyway. If your plants and our animals are here, then you are home. So, without further delay, I'm going to do what more men like me should be doing, and I'm going to turn the mic over to an inspired, talented woman who is trying to make the world a better place. So here's Jess to talk about the mighty power of dirt.
Super embarrassing. Thank you. You did a good job. All right, so before we get started with the sermon, I'd like to pass around the offertory. Thank you. And if this is your first time here, your presence is present enough. And as we talk about small things, I know how much everybody gives to this organization, this fellowship, in time and talent and treasure. Okay. So today I wanted to talk about dirt and this spirituality I've brought. I have had my most spiritual feeling experiences where I feel connected or like there's something bigger than me when I'm outside and when I have dirt under my fingernails and dirty knees. There's an activist, Satish Kumar, who had introduced the concept that all 8 billion of us live from just 6 inches of soil. And I think we can take that a step further and say all terrestrial beings depend on just this 6 inches of soil. And that's been formed, I'm not going to talk about dinosaurs. It's not my wheelhouse, but this soil has been formed from the dawn of time, and lately, I think even with the advent of agriculture, we can sometimes take more from it than we're giving back to it. And that's really what that word regenerative means. It's very buzzy. It's not, you could throw it on a dozen eggs and say it's regenerative. It might not truly be, but that's the essence of that word, is instead of extractive, we're regenerating soil. And what was really appealing to me is that our principle of interdependence, this interdependent web, like talk about interdependent, we can't live without soil. So I wanted to talk about, I don't want to ever like tell people what to do or how to eat, but I did want to kind of share some things that I've learned about farming and soil and share some things that I've learned about farmers too. I think that This is an increasingly more divisive type of world that we live in, and maybe I know that I'm told things about what different groups believe. The farmers that I've worked with all over everywhere, there's no dairy grazing farms in Hawaii, unfortunately. I don't get to travel there, but I get to go everywhere else. All of the farmers that I work with are deeply concerned about the earth, the soil, the health of their animals, the health of their plants, the health of their families. They didn't vote for you know who. For the most part, I haven't met a single farmer that does. They want all the same things we do. And the folks that I interact with are not any different from you or I. It's just that their clothes are a lot dirtier than mine might get in one day. We've done some things to take things slowly at our house. We're taking small steps, I guess. And I really do believe that small steps, when added together, can change the world. We compost at home. So all of our veggie scraps go into the ones that the chickens don't turn into eggs, go into the compost pile. And then with that rots over time, we sift it out and we add it back to the soil so that we're giving it back to the soil that we have. We're very lucky, privileged, I'd say, to have this yard where it has not been treated with chemicals or pesticides, so we're safe to grow things in the dirt there. We leave wild spaces in our yard where we don't mow or do much to, so that any critters that need that space can stay back there. And then we plant native perennials so that birds and bugs have things to eat. In our space. We like our space to be kind of a way station for native animals and creatures. We left all of our leaves last year that fell from the trees. That was kind of an experiment. I was worried that we were going to get all kinds of maybe pests or not likable bugs, but instead we had a summer filled with lightning bugs. Like I know that you probably talked about this too. Like I know when I was little, everything, the sky felt like it was lit up with lightning bugs, and that seemed to change the last couple of, it's been a couple decades since I've been a kid, the last couple of decades, but with leaving the leaves in the yard, they seem to really enjoy that, and we were able to fill our yard with lightning bugs. We only got one pest on an oak tree, but we caught it in time. And those caterpillars were too yucky for the chickens to turn them into eggs, but they composted very well. I would encourage folks to look at how farmers in other countries protest against the legislation that happens to them. France is very good at bringing their manure spreaders and throwing them at the Capitol. They also take all the paperwork that the government has asked them to fill out and put it through their compost and shred it. So it's really inspiring to watch a few other countries have the farmers fight back against unnecessary, it's not regulations, it's just onerous paperwork that they've been asked to do, or fighting to sell their land out from under them under eminent domain. At home, I walk barefoot a lot and I track lots of leaves into the house, which I think Matt was kind of annoyed at first, but now he thinks it's endearing and he knows it's important to me. And I'm never closer to my higher power than when I'm outside. I didn't write the quote down, but I know George Harrison said, I'm paraphrasing, that the only thing that made sense to him was being in his garden. Anything else, none of the other stuff outside of that made sense, but he felt like the world made the most sense when he was outside of his garden. Plants and animals and beautiful flowers are secondary to how much I love soil. We couldn't have any of the things, the coffee beans that were brewed, if we really think about it, right? The paper that these are printed on, all of this came from nature and it came from the soil. So I like to think, what can I do to make sure the soil stays healthy? And that's a matter of giving back more than I'm taking and starting with really small steps. Because who knows who invented the term carbon footprint? BP Oil invented the term carbon footprint. So they have put the onus of climate change on us. as individuals, when really we can do our jobs to make things better for the earth, but at a industry level, we're never going to pollute as much as they will. But if you are trying to keep things local and natural, we live in a really fortunate place, right? In like 19464, 19465, you could get any meat you can think of, milk, veggies, fruit, grain, eggs. You can even buy flax that was grown here and spin your own dress out of it if you want. We're very fortunate to live where we live and be able to eat locally and give back to the soil. And we can, if we cannot grow things directly, if that is not what things allow, when we talk about things like time and talent and treasure, if we have treasure, we can give to the farmers who can grow things and buy from them. If we have time, we can grow things on our own or add to the compost and add to the soil. And if we have talent, we can grow things and give them away to other people. And that's what we do here in the garden. All of the food grown is donated to the Pottstown Religious Cluster, what am I saying? Yeah, and that's given to folks who are food insecure or unhoused. And they get to enjoy things that even with lots of treasure, we might not be able to purchase. It's organic greens and tomatoes, green beans. What do we grow this year? Garlic, peas, potatoes, lots of organic food. So that really feels important. There's much to be done on the other side of the river there. There's plenty of ways to help. Okay. That's all I wanted to say, and I wanted to see if anybody had questions or wanted to brag about the things that they do to help the earth or help with soil.
You see the movie by Woody Harrelson called Kiss the Soil?
Oh, I know, yeah. There's Kiss the Ground, right? There's a lot of, yeah, that's a great one to watch. They've done a good job.
Really start how different farmers approach things. One person uses all these chemicals and the desert, and then the next guy over, you can see the division line between desert and actual real growth.
Yeah, there's been some forward moving studies. I've seen it mostly with beef, where one farmer is extractive, so they use all pesticides and fertilizer that didn't come from the farm. It's not a closed loop system, versus other farmers who rotate their cattle through pastures, let pastures rest and regrow. They seed with native seeds, and they let the cows be the sort of four-legged manure spreaders, four-legged fertilizer spreaders, to tromp down weeds, to add organic matter back to the soil. And you can even see it from like a Google Earth view. It does look like a desert. The soil is washing away, versus the farms that are able to farm in a more regenerative way. Just how much good they're doing. And also for a farmer who's trying to make a living being a farmer, it ends up being less expensive because you don't have all of those inputs that you're putting on the land. You're letting your animals do the work.
Your opinion of government subsidies, paying farmers not to.
Yeah, so the question was, what's your opinion of government subsidies paying farmers not to grow crops? That's nuts, right? We have starvation level poverty in the US. And there's some very savvy farmers who are able to take advantage of those things, and then there's other folks who aren't. And there's a whole sort of corrupt system of food and government subsidies. Yeah, I could go on about that. It's pretty crazy, but it's nice here that we can have small farmers. There's 1 to 4 acre farms. I can think of 10 off the top of my head that we could comfortably bike to. That are not relying on those kinds of things, and they're direct marketing their food and they're putting back in the soil what they take out of it.
Okay. I have a comment more than a question. I was part of the very first Earth Day. I was in college then, I think many years ago. And one of the things that struck me was that Nixon, a Republican president, established the EPA. Right, and it was either, I can't remember, it was either Reagan or Bush the father. Both Republicans said that the environment is a gift from the Almighty. And you all know what's happening.
Here we are.
Yes, yeah, and here we are.
Oh, go ahead. Have you heard of the book Animal Miracle? Animal
Yeah.
Miracle.
Barbecue
Book changed my life. It's a story about, a true story. Of a couple with two daughters from Arizona, and they decided to move back to the family farm in Virginia. And I got this book a few years ago. I bought copies for everybody in my family Christmas. And they made a pledge that they would not buy anything from any farm more than 60 miles away. And they would buy all their fruit in season. It is in Virginia, and you're not going to get grapes and strawberries in Virginia in December, January. It's full of recipes. I actually now make my own yogurt from that. It's, I buy it from the local farm. It's just a wonderful book, and they talk about native plants, and I'm glad you hear about it. It's just
Oh, yeah.
animal, vegetable miracle. Wonderful, wonderful.
It's Barbara Kingsolver.
Um,
Yeah, so that's another thing too, for poor Matt, for better or for worse, I don't know that he necessarily knew what he was getting himself into, but, we've really make a pledge to buy food that wasn't grown more than like 100-mile radius. And that, like, listen, I eat bananas, okay? I'm not, again, small steps, this isn't, I don't wanna condemn anybody either for, I promise you, bananas weren't grown in East Coventry. But as much as we can, we purchase very locally, and it's been important to me to learn how to skill up on things, to grow food, to ferment food. I learned a lot from Sandor Katz's Art of Fermentation. It's another really good book. It's about fermentation and growing and health, but it's also a deeply spiritual book about his experiences through his health problems and getting better from fermented food.
And go ahead, I have a question.
Yeah.
Just what markets, what farmers locally do you recommend that we could support and buy their food?
Yeah, so great. So yeah, like Matt had said, Seven Stars is right over in Kimberton. They've been making pre and probiotic yogurt since the 70s. They're who started Kimberton Whole Foods. That's originally where it was. Kimberton Whole Foods has no affiliation with Mr. Bezos. It is not Whole Foods, it is its own entity. We get our milk from Pigeon Creek Farm, which is right. That one. Yeah, this way, as a crow flies. They do raw and pasteurized milk, they're a micro herd. I'm actually working with them through the Dairy Grazing Alliance to get them grazing more and get them some grants I read a lot of grants for farmers. Get them some grants to get some fencing so that they can use different land. And then our veggies are from Toadstop Farm, which is right on Halteman. They do a CSA of customer supported agriculture. So you purchase things at the beginning of the year, and then each week you take available what looks good that week, what was ready to harvest. And work around that. Sometimes I get way more radishes than maybe I would have eaten in a week, but that helps me be creative and look for recipes and find ways to cook them. And then Red Dog Market, which is right down 23. Yeah, they stock only local foods. You cannot buy anything that was more than probably 100-mile radius from there. And they have a little bit of everything, except for chocolate. But their chocolate is fair trade and organic.
Just how does cold farm? That's very good.
Oh yeah, Colb's is great. Colb's is great too. They have their cows on farm and then they bring in milk. Cassie's amazing. She is gonna change the world probably. Cassie's gonna run the world.
I'm just gonna say where I am, and I've ran into the barn houses there once, there's a CSA at Olmec, and that's a woman run.
Oh, cool.
Farm out on Route 82, sort of past out of the Glenmore, but sort of toward
Oh, yeah.
coastal downtown. So Volmeki, that's another good CSA from the local area.
Can you spell that?
VOLLNECKE.
I would have never guessed that's.
Yeah,
like
like
that, yeah.
Yeah, she's been there for quite a long time,
Yeah,
and they do a nice job.
I don't know if just your county school does this, but usually at the beginning of the year, they put out, I call it like a magazine
oh,
of all the, what top. The months of the year and what vegetables and stuff comes in, and then they list all the CSA and. You know, roadside farm stands and stuff. I don't know if they've been it this year or not, I haven't seen one since last year.
yeah, last year was the last one I saw too. But yeah, most, you can pick them up at 7 Stars or Cuban Whole Foods.
Like, we try and be really thoughtful about the foods that we eat. But honestly, the hardest thing is like a family is chicken. You
Yeah,
don't realize how many chickens you eat in a year,
yeah,
but it's a lot.
yeah,
Like hundreds of chickens.
yeah,
For a family of 4.
Yeah.
That's like, I hate that.
yeah,
You know what I mean? But it's like, we need it to get through the week.
yeah,
What you said about how lucky we are where we live, there are tons of CSAs, we have like one right down the road. What was the like adaptation to your cooking that you have to do though, when you get like.
Oh, yeah.
Bok choy or.
Yeah.
Is that what it's called, or, yeah, we're like, what is this alien magic?
Yeah.
You know what I mean, you gotta get like creative, but at the same time, you feel like. You feel so awesome being able to walk on the bar and talk to the one that we did is like veteran. A family that served, you know, finding this new lease on life through farming right there, but just knowing the people, knowing what you're contributing to. But also how you're so much more in the cycle of the seasons.
Yeah.
You feel like. You definitely feel more connected, you know, and hearing how connected they are. When they're providing the food to you, it's such like a community element, I love.
yeah, there's a lot of secondary benefits even to just buying food now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like aligned with the principles, so.
Yeah. There, yeah, yes, yeah, it's very hard to find, regenerative chicken is, if anybody can crack that code, you will be, I think, yeah.
Because like, so a friend of ours is doing meat chickens. And we always talk about, you know, like buy the job closer to home or something, when we figure it out, like the chicken tractors.
Yep.
Constantly moving and everything, but it's like. The amount of time, labor and cost to get those 12 chickens to. And also like, it's so sad that the broiler chickens. Like if they live past, I don't know if you know this, but when you buy meat birds, it's different than an egg bird. So like, once they get to a certain age, their meat is so, they're selectively bred to have such a ridiculous amount of meat on them that they can't even like stand up on their own. So they grow really rapidly and then you cull them. So it's like this whole system you need.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it takes up your life for 8 weeks, yeah, to get like what, 20 pounds of meat, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, that's whenever I see like a regeneratively raised or a pasture raised chicken, I'm like, well, that should probably be like a $60 bird, you know, yeah.
So there's a place over by. Like over by Telford, I guess, it's called Hirschberger Heritage Farm.
Oh.
Millersville. They have a huge system, they'll do turkeys. You guys needed, and it's not always locally, you know, it's got like a network of meat farmers. And it's a little costly, but what we've done in the past is like. You pay $500 and he gives you a card, and then you go in the little farm store and it's just like, you're just using that. Like call a membership, but they just scan that bank of money that you put in. Which is. And again, it's like, you're talking directly to the guy who's
Yeah.
also a veteran.
Yeah,
But it's cool, if you ever drive on Ridge Road, it's right on Ridge Road in Telford, Sellersville area. But they have a huge operation, you see all the chicken tractors, all the turkey tractors, it's really cool.
yeah, chicken tractors and turkey tractors are really great, it's a box essentially that you can pull, usually manually, across pasture, so the chickens get fresh grass and bugs and dirt and all the things that they need each day. And they're also supplemented with grain and water, of course, but it's a very That's a very regenerative way. All that chicken manure is good stuff. People pay good money for dehydrated chicken manure for their gardens, and here you get it, you know, for free. It's a byproduct of the meat you're growing. So, very cool. We have, this is not maybe feasible for everybody. I just happen to have to go to North Carolina in February for work. And there's a beef farm down there that does 8 the cow specials, so I split it with somebody else, so I'll be trucking home from North Carolina with a quarter of a cow of meat that was raised regeneratively on a farm that I know and trust. And again, I know that farm, the funds that I spend on that we work so hard to earn, go directly to that farmer, and it doesn't go to another big organization or
Yeah,
something.
so to that point, we got a half a pig from Kim Culp.
Nice,
Right
yeah.
down the road here. Be highly recommended next year.
Yeah,
The bacon is.
The bacon is
Yeah,
actually.
you
Yeah.
guys got one too, yeah.
Whole bacon after you deliver it is quickly empty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
all of the, but once
Good
you've had real food, like,
Yeah.
you know, that first time people eat a heritage tomato, or you have meat that was raised that way, or eggs. I know we have chickens for eggs, and I can't go like back to other food. The yolks don't look as good, they're not as yummy. Yeah. Like,
I had a light bulb moment just now when you talked about chicken feeding or scraps. I take out a big thing of compost every day. And it's so much vegetable waste that it just takes a long time for that to break down into compost. And I thought, we have been thinking about chickens for a long time. We gotta get the house.
I'll be bad influence. I'm very pro chicken. I'll be bad.
Yeah.
If you don't really
Yeah,
know, don't tell me.
house.
Yeah.
But that is where I wanted that. Yeah.
Yeah, they can turn it into egg, you know, if you're not gonna eat celery tops, but you'll eat an egg, give it to a chicken, they'll turn it into
Yeah.
an egg. Yeah.
I have a relevant joke.
Okay.
Okay, the chicken, this is breakfast, okay? The chicken is involved, the pig is committed.
Oh, okay. Okay. Anybody else?
I just want to say one thing as a social justice chair. I just love all the action pieces that we're coming with together here for environmental causes. So thank you guys for, you know, again, participating and allowing for you to brainstorm some good action pieces to make this world a better place.
Yeah. And I'll say too, just to, the government subsidy part, it is kind of a dirty part of farming, honestly. But, what has been happening historically and what will hopefully be happening again is there are government and federal grants for farmers who are beginning, veteran, women-owned, BIPOC. Right now, I'm working on a grant that frankly, I was surprised we got because the language in it was heavily DEI, and I thought we would just get canceled, but I really think they didn't read it that well, to be completely honest with you, and that's why we got it. But our grant currently helps Spanish-speaking farmers who are want to raise capital to either run their own farm or level up into a management position. So we're translating all of our educational materials into Spanish, which is a job. So, and we're hiring Spanish speakers to do that. So at least through this grant for the next 2 years, we can use government funds in a way that is, it's regenerative instead of extractive, right? Okay. Thank you, everybody, for having that conversation. All right, and we have our closing hymn, which is 175 in the Gray Book. We celebrate the web of life. Stand and body and spirit as your equal. to larger than life, moving on to Hedwigs and birds and fellowship gathering together, even today, helping others get out of the snow. I'm so grateful to be back in person here. Okay, and now we will extinguish our chalice. Does anybody have a desire to do that? Thanks, Brooke. And we'll say the words together. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of wisdom, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts, in our hands, until we are together again. I just want to say thank you again, everybody. Thanks for letting me be up here. I am not, no matter how many times I speak, I'm not super comfortable doing it, so thank you. And I hope that we can all live a dirt-rich life where we're planting trees that will never see mature, we'll enjoy what is out there, and feel more connected to that web for just a bit. So thank you very much. And, we can, look at that. We can all get some coffee, enjoy fellowship, and the town hall meeting after this. Thank you.